in the shadow of war. When sirens cut through the night and the world felt unsteady beneath people's feet, survival didn't happen only on the front lines. It happened in kitchens small, dimly lit, determined spaces where families fought a quieter but equally relentless battle against scarcity. Rations were thin, luxuries vanished, and what used to be discarded suddenly became precious. Entire families learned to turn scraps into meals, to stretch a week's worth of food into a month, and to survive on creativity just as much as courage. These kitchens became battlefields of their own, where every spoonful mattered and every recipe carried the weight of sacrifice, hope, and resilience. Imagine blackout curtains pulled tight against the windows, the faint smell of cold smoke lingering in the air, and the soft crackle of wartime radio whispering news no one wanted to hear. Dinner wasn't about indulgence or comfort, it was about survival, ingenuity, and the will to keep going from one day to the next. In today's world of overflowing supermarkets and instant convenience, the dishes born from this era may feel like relics. But in times of crisis, they become guides. They become proof that, with the right knowledge, a little bit can go a very long way. What you're about to discover isn't just food, it's edible memory, recipes forged in the 1940s, almost forgotten today, yet carrying within them a quiet power. They represent the grit of a generation that faced scarcity head-on, even in factory refusing to allow hunger, reminding everyone that nourishment 12 recipes to rely on abundance are more than instructions. They are survival manuals, written in the language of necessity and shaped by the hands of people who lived through some of the harshest conditions modern history has ever known. When flour became precious and butter nearly impossible to find, ingenuity gave rise to dishes like potato peel pie. What we toss into compost today, those humble peels were once boiled, mashed, and pressed into a makeshift crust. Families filled it with any vegetables or scraps of meat. It taught an important lesson, then baked it into something hearty enough. Flavor can be replicated even when the main ingredient is nowhere to be found. Option. Every bit of food had value, and nothing was overlooked. Even now, this recipe stands as a testament to thrift. Proof that nutritious meals can be made from the things we usually ignore. Then there was Lord Woolton's pie, a national symbol of resilience. Named after Britain's Minister of Food, not only did it taste bright and cheerful, stretched meager rations, it delivered vitamins people badly needed during no meat at all, stress and they relied entirely on root vegetables like carrots, turnips, and potatoes, sealed beneath a wholemeal pastry crust. Blood on the pavement, but our wheels intact. Its strength lay in flexibility. Whatever vegetables were available could be thrown in, creating a filling dish that could last for days. But perhaps the most creative dishes were the ones built to imitate luxuries and used every part of the grain-reducing waste, maximizing nutrition. Layered potatoes, onions, and a smear of sage stuffing was designed to mimic the aroma and flavor of roast goose. It was simple, but through seasoning and imagination, families recreated a sense of normalcy. It was cake filling, with sugar rations down to nearly nothing, and could feed several people with minimal fuel. Folklore whispered about more than experienced. Carrot marmalade stepped in to fill the void. Boiled carrots, mashed and mixed with citrus zest, turned into a vibrant oatmeal soup bread that added color and energy to mornings. Carrots and salt became a nourishing broth that could stretch endlessly with just a bit more water and a handful of chopped vegetables. And even today, it remains a clever way to preserve crops for months without refrigeration. Bread, too, transformed under pressure. In Britain, all bakeries were ordered to produce one standardized loaf, the national loaf. Dense, slightly coarse, made from wholemeal flour. It wasn't loved for its texture, but for its practicality. Without meat, the stew relied on slow simmering to build a rich, earthy flavor. Baking it now is like reaching back through time, connecting hands across generations through something as simple as dough. Eggs became a rare luxury for soldiers, and bakers turned to chemistry instead of poultry. So families turned to canned alternatives. Corned beef hash made from tinned meat fried with potatoes and onions became an anchor in wartime kitchens. Even today, its ingredients store for years. Today, making it a reliable, is still crisis-proof for anyone dealing with shortages or dietary needs. Thick and porridge.
never look back. Stories in graffiti painted on the wall. Voices of the fallen whisper through it all. Echoes in the silence calling out.
It was simply warming, and dependable proof that grains could anchor an entire diet when everything else ran short. In homes across the country, victory gardens sprouted in backyards, parks, and public spaces. Families grew what they could, and whatever the soil offered: beans, kale, turnips, onions went straight into a pot to create vegetable victory stew. No two pots were ever the same, and that was its every so often, the flavors of dish shaped slipped into the tight borders, the weather rationing, and the work of the gardener's hands. Using vinegar, baking soda, and mashed fruit, they created eggless cakes that still rose beautifully. Chocolatey versions made with just a spoonful of cocoa became small symbols of joy. These cakes lifted morale and proved that creativity could triumph, even over scarcity. Fresh cream was almost impossible to find, so people invented mock crema, simple mixture of flour, margarine, milk, and sugar. It wasn't the real thing. Whether you make these dishes to honor the past or keep them tucked away for uncertain times, they carry the wisdom of people who refused to let just how far a little resourcefulness could go. Dried peas, cheap and long-lasting, were the backbone of many wartime meals. Pea soup simmered until thick and smooth, offered warmth, sustenance, and just a bit of comfort at the end of long days. When families were especially fortunate, a ham bone might be added for flavor, but even without it, the soup nourished households through cold nights. Root vegetable curry made with potatoes, parsnips, carrots, onions, and curry powder brought color and fragrance. 2. Otherwise, plain meals. It was a rare reminder that even during hardship, there was still room for spice, for creativity, and for the joy of discovering new tastes. These recipes are more than cooking instructions. They are reminders etched into history and preserved through necessity of a time when every crumb counted. They show us that hunger sharpens the mind as much as the appetite, and that human ingenuity knows no limits when survival is on the line. If these wartime kitchens could speak, they'd tell you that resilience is as essential as potatoes, flour, or salt. They'd remind you that in every crisis past or future, knowledge is the ingredient that keeps you fed. And if you found meaning in this journey through history's kitchens, share it, preserve it, and pass it on, because these recipes did indeed just feed a generation and one of humanity. As darkest chapters may one day feed you through the next.